Hey, welcome back. We're going back into the subject today of Philip Marshall.
It talks about the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office and how they have come out with more information that is supposed to disprove conspiracy theories and is supposed to finally give everybody closure on what happened to Philip Marshall, his two children, and the family dog, which I guess did not live at the residence where it was found. I have to really start where they started, where the sheriff's office started, and they started
Good.
very, very quickly. They, within hours, said that this was a double murder suicide. So I start there, right there. That's the number one thing. This is what
They
said.
came out initially saying
Right.
they didn't say we're investigating, we don't know, but it appears to be they just went right in. This
Right into
was,
it, yeah. And then
it was a statement of
and
fact.
then like most of the papers ran with it, and even truther sites ran with that title just so that it would come up quicker, in the search when people are searching for it.
Yeah.
Putting in murder suicide, Philip Marshall will
It'll hit.
you will hit, but I didn't put that. I really don't like that because
You don't believe
I
it.
don't believe it. I don't believe it. But I start there because that's what they say. Just like on 911, okay, this is what they say. Just like on JFK, okay, this is what they say. And you have to really start there only because there's so much fake garbage out there, and there's so many people that are going to try to pull you this way and pull you that way. And to really see what the facts state, you really have to start with what you are being told by the people that you think are most likely to tell the truth. Which,
Now, who is that?
in this view, would be the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
Now, not knowing anything about the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office, I do respect the sheriff's office.
Yes.
And I do think that that is the one place where we can hold him accountable. So I am looking at Gary.
And they
Gary
are
Coons.
accountable.
And Gary
All
Coons, the Calaveras County Sheriff, Gary Coons.
Gary Coons. Okay.
Really needs to really think about this. And I sent him something, and I just wrote to him just gently, just kind of saying, don't you find this weird, how quickly your officers came to this conclusion.
What is the reason?
Everything is.
What is the reason they came to it? What is the experience of the officers and those who were at the scene?
Well, Sergeant Chris Hewitt it says that he stands by them, and that's good. They should stand by their people. They should stand by the people that they're that are
A lot of times they
investigating
make
this
right
crime.
decisions even under
Sure.
the pressure to turn to different things, and that's commendable.
And so
And
and
I
there's,
would stand
there's
with you on
nothing
it.
wrong. There's nothing wrong with a person like me asking those questions,
Of course
asking
not.
these simple questions. And there's nothing wrong with me admitting that I'm wrong. That this was a double murder suicide. Maybe it was.
Now let's talk about the trip, though. The feel that we got at this trip, which was quite different than what I expected.
It really was. And there was one comment or one little blog thing that talked about how all of the houses were almost stacked up on top of each other. That's not true at all.
No,
The
they're
houses
far
were
apart.
not stacked up on top
There
of
was
each
lots
other.
of
They
room.
were very far. Now, having shot a Glock, do you think that from that house, that the neighbors would have heard 4 shots?
It's possible.
At least one of 4.
It would be
One of
very muffled, and it would have not been a clear-cut thing from inside the house through the area you're covering, in through another house, and through all that it had to go to. You would have to have been outside, I think. Unless it was silenced.
So you're
or
saying that
it-
if the Glock was fired 4 times inside of the house, it is possible that neighbors would not.
Now, you have to understand something. This wasn't like boom, 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 boom. It was boom, boom, stop. It would have been the dog. I would assume, in this case, it had been boom, the dog. And if the children were really sleeping, as is supposed, boom, boom. But the problem is, occurred. The dog is dead, the children are dead. But what was the order of the shoot? Who was killed
Well, that's
first?
what this six-page thing that's coming out any day. In fact, I'm going to check that right now. But I'm sure it'll
See,
come out
we
Friday.
need to look at the autopsy.
You know, Friday they're going to come out. We need to find somebody in the Calaveras County because they can get the local paper that's going to have. They've already said they're going to print.
We need to get that. I want to get the paper, and I want to get the autopsy report.
I don't know how we get
Well,
that.
we know somebody we can get the paper. We already know somebody. And I'm gonna go back, if you don't, we're gonna go back, and I'm gonna be just asking for that. I'm gonna ask for the report. I'm gonna ask for the newspaper report. I'm gonna ask for the sheriff's reports. That's public information.
And the coroner.
And the coroner's report.
So we go to the coroner's office.
Those four
we go to
items.
the sheriff's office.
Right, the newspaper.
And the Calaveras,
And the Calaveras County.
Enterprise. Those three. Those are the
And what I want to do is I would like to just invite the children who knew the children there. You know, what are your facts? What do you know? Well, I'm sure this shocked you beyond to have your friends. And my condolences. You know, I can't speak of this without feeling the great sorrow that, you know, Michaela and Alex, his friends, must feel, because I've lost people when I was younger, a young man and even a student in middle school and in high school. And to lose somebody, it devastates you. It makes you feel like, what's wrong with the world? What's happened? And, you know, I identify to that. And you're looking out and saying, why? Who would do it to children? Why? And if you think it's Philip Marshall, you think, why would he kill his children? Why would he shoot his dog? And if it wasn't him, why would they do such a thing? Why Philip Marshall? Did I say Mitchell? I did. Marshall. My mind slipped. But anyway, we'll be right back.
You want facts before you come to a conclusion. It doesn't seem like the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office did that. It seems like they had already concluded that this was a double murder suicide, and the evidence that anybody can look at, the evidence is very, very weak. So I would challenge anybody who would like to come on here or you know, tell me why I'm wrong in thinking that this is a triple murder as opposed to a double murder suicide. I believe that there is just as much proof for my theory and many other people's theory as there is for the official theory, and that's what it really has to be called, because you can't call it a fact. You can't say that it's over. You might have buried his body and buried the children and the family dog, but you can't bury this story. It's not gonna go away. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter who you take out. It doesn't matter who you slander, who you come after. There's way too many people that know about this story now. You've already lost. The story has already gotten itself out there, and now it is just making rounds. And anyone who has a chance to look at the story will see exactly why there's still questions. So they ruled out a triple murder on the same day they find these bodies. There's no motive still. They can't put the gun in Philip Marshall's hand. They can only state that they cannot rule out 2 fingerprints on the left hand, not on the right hand, which is very crucial. Everyone should read this. It is about 6 pages long, but it's a pretty quick read, and then you should really think about it and maybe write your own thoughts upon it too. I think that would be really good. The time that he bought the gun is pretty recently too, so it wasn't like they can really say that, well, this is a crazy guy who shouldn't have got his hands on guns. It looks like that's pretty much what they're saying, basically. They're basically saying we don't know how this guy qualified to get a gun, and so it's just, man, here we go again. Here we go. We're going to blame guns now. We're going to say, well, crazy people shouldn't have guns. Well, you know where some of the most crazy people are is in our government. So why don't we do some tests on them first? If we're going to, run any psychological tests or whatever, diagnose. Let's see who in Congress and who in government is basically mentally ill. And that's the other thing. Who says that they're mentally ill? What if a crazy person, psychiatrist, not saying they all are, but come on, there's got to be a lot of crazy people in there. Well, what if they say that, oh, this person's crazy? Well, you got a crazy person calling somebody else crazy. Who decides who is crazy? And that's the whole thing. The government, which is crazy. As a whole, everything that they do seems crazy. It seems wrong. FDA approving GMO. It's totally contradictory. Totally contradictory. So it's these type of things. You could say, well, yeah, there's too many people on this planet. We need to get rid of some. Who decides who gets rid of them? Who is in power? You trust the people in power to really not get rid of you, but get rid of someone else that you might think is crazy? Come on. That's crazy.